EdYoda, the end of your job search and the beginning of your dream career. EdYoda's live sessions are taught by industry experts, giving you hands-on experience and practical knowledge with real projects, not just degrees. EdYoda's industry-recognized certifications will help you stand out in the job market. And that's not all. With EdYoda's exclusive job board featuring 500+ companies, finding your dream job has never been easier. Say goodbye to endless job searching and hello to your dream career with EdYoda. Join EdYoda's student community today and start building your dream career.
Hi everyone, welcome to the online workshop. I hope you all are excited. We are also excited to have this workshop. A quick check, you all are able to hear me clearly or not? A quick hi in the chat box. So as you all know, today our workshop is on GitHub. So we'll begin the workshop very soon. But before that, I want to know from where are you all watching this live stream from? I'll begin first. I am doing this live stream from Bangalore. Anant, from where are you doing this live stream?
Hey, I am too from Bangalore, Rishabh.
All right. So let us know from where are you doing this live stream, like watching this live stream from in the chat box. We would definitely love to know from where are you all watching this live stream. And so today we'll be having a 2 hours workshop. It will begin at 6 o'clock exact and we'll be having till 8. And at the end, we'll definitely have a Q&A. So all the questions that you have, quickly type it. Whenever you get any questions, type it in the chat box and we will definitely get to it and try to answer all your questions. And a little bit about EdYoda before we actually start the session. So EdYoda is an e-learning platform where we educate you on job relevant skills and then connect you to job opportunities via our hiring partners. And this is one of our initiatives where we will learn about GitHub. So I won't waste any more of your time and I'll hand it over to Anant so that we can begin the session. So over to you, Anant.
Thank you, Rishabh. Hey, hi, hello everyone. Good evening, and so great to see you all attending this live session. Yeah, so as you know, the topic for today that we are here, it is just that we are going to look how we can use GitHub as a part of the entire DevOps life cycle, or in the process that if I am a DevOps engineer, then how can I leverage the power of GitHub in the entire in my entire career as a DevOps engineer, right? Fine. Now, see, if I want to understand, if I want to start with, okay, so let me just give you a brief introduction. So my name is Anant and I have currently over 4.5 years of experience in doing the training part. Yeah, so I have been into this training. So that is a bit about me. So without wasting much of our energy and time on these things, so let's begin our session, right? Yeah. So let me just quickly share my screen. Yeah. So just give me a second. Yeah. Fine. So look at this. So today we are here to discuss a lot of things related to GitHub. So if I want to give you a brief of what are we going to discuss, right? So let me just give you a brief idea, like what are we going to discuss. So let me just write the agenda part. So if I write about that, so I'll be talking about the need for GitHub, okay? The need for GitHub. Then we'll directly jump on to the hands-on part, and we will actually do the coding part, meaning writing the commands, hands-on for commands that we use, okay, as part of Git or GitHub. And then we'll see stuff like most popular commands, okay, most popular commands of Git. So something like, if I can give you an idea, so like we have init command, we have a command called as status, right? So we have commands like log. Okay, we have commands uh, like for example checkout. Okay, so these are the few of the commands that we use on a quite regular basis. Okay, so without these commands it becomes, I mean, empty, or it becomes insufficient to leverage the power of GitHub. Now if I Git or GitHub, now if I want to just talk about more about this, so we'll also see some of the advanced commands like git difference, right? Git diff. So we'll also talk about git log in more detail, right? So like this, fine. So before that, so firstly, if you just look at this, so the first thing is the need for GitHub. Now, I'm not touching on the more theory part here, like where GitHub actually comes into that DevOps lifecycle. So, for if you want to understand more about Git and GitHub, the difference between Git and GitHub, so there is one more session that is conducted by me on GitHub. So learn GitHub to become a software engineer. So you can just find out that, and I will leave that in the description. So you can find the video link in the description so that you can refer to that. So there I have discussed in detail about what is a Git, where actually GitHub comes in as a part of the entire DevOps lifecycle. Then what are the popular tools that are available as a part of Git? What is the difference between Git and GitHub? So usually we try to misuse, or we try to interchangeably use these terms. Called one is Git and the other one is GitHub. So we should know the difference. What is a Git and what is the difference between a Git and GitHub actually? So I have discussed in detail about those topics. So where did Git and GitHub originate from? Who was the founder, the originator of these technologies? So how they emerged and how they are going now, and the industries or the companies that are right now currently using these technologies, that is Git and GitHub. So I have discussed these things in detail. So you can just go through that video. I'll leave that video link in the description. Fine. So now check this. So first thing is, let's understand the need for GitHub. Okay. So let's say I am working on an application, right? So let me just rearrange. Yeah. So I am an organization, okay, and I am working on a chat application. Let's suppose chat application. Chat application. So let's say in the team I have around, let's say, 5 developers. So I'll just say developer 1. Then let's say developer 2. Okay. Then let's say developer 3. Okay. Then let's say developer 4. And finally, we have one more guy in the end here. So let's say he is developer number 5. So what is the task is, so some of the features of that chat application will be developed by first one, for developer number 1. Then developer 2 will add his own things to it, to that application. Then developer 3 will add his own the part or the features to that chat application. So likewise, every developer will have his or her own set of features to be contributed or to be added to that chat application. Now look at this. If you try to think, so all 5 developers are working on the same chat application. But the difficulty here is, let's say the developer number 1 starts working on the chat application. So and developer 5 or developer 4, let's say these 2 people start working on the chat application. Now what happens is, whatever code that developer 1 writes, okay, so how he will communicate it. See, in the end, what is the end goal? So combining the codes of all the 5 developers, I should be able to get a chat application. That is the end goal. So we are, all the 5 developers are behind one chat application. So they have to design one chat application. Now the problem here is, when developer 1 starts working, so developer number 4 also is working at the same time. when they want to integrate, so there is no proper integration that is available here. So let's say if I talk about that, sorry. So if I talk about this, see this. So he is also working, developer number 1. Okay. And this guy is also working on the same chat application. The problem here is when he is working, how will he give his code to developer number 4, or maybe let's say developer 3, or maybe let's say developer 5. Okay. The only way that I can think of is, so he has to copy his code in some uh, either a pen drive or something like that. Okay. So as of now, till now, what I can think is, so if developer 1 wants to share his part of the code to either 2 or 3 or 4, to any one of them, then there is only one thing, either pen drive or through, he can send it through email, something like that. Okay. So that is the thing. So in order to bring some organized way of sharing the code, okay, so in order to bring some organized way of sharing the code between the developers, so there comes a new system called as centralized system. So now let's understand this. What is this? Chat application. Okay. So let's say again, I'll take those 5 developers. Okay, I'll just copy them and paste it in my sheet number 2 here. So let's say this developer is working on PC 1. Okay. So similarly, this is working on PC 2. Similarly, he is working on PC 3. Then he is working on PC 4. And finally, he is working on PC 5. Okay. So now what I can think of, or what I can come up with an idea is, I'll try to create a main PC here. Okay. Main PC. One main PC which contains, okay, which contains codes from all the developers. So instead of sharing it using through mail or through some other sources, what I can now do is, so let's say developer 1, okay, works on PC 1, and whatever code that he writes, okay, he stores it in main PC. Then whatever code developer 4, okay, code he writes, he again stores that in the main PC. Then developer 3 is working on his own personal computer, okay, and he stores his code in main PC. Now what you can observe here is, so that there is some organization, or there is some organized structure, so that all these developers can share their codes. So the end goal is that they have to come up with a chat application. But now, okay, because of this main PC, okay, main PC which is present here, so they can share, contribute their codes to this main PC. So we call this as centralized PC or centralized repository. Centralized repository. Repo. Okay. So just the terms. These are just the terms that we use. Now check this. Now there is again a problem here. So we are able to solve the problem. The first problem, if we try to look, okay, here in sheet number 1, so there was no way in order to communicate between developers of the team. There was no way how they can share their codes. So in order to bring some organization, we came up with an idea that let's create a main PC. So on that main PC, all the developers will share their codes. Okay. So this is one way that we have seen. But there is this system also, or this particular way also contains a problem. So let's discuss that problem. Let's say by some means there is a failure of this main PC. Okay, the main system itself fails. Assume that it fails. Fails meaning, let's say it got crashed, or it is not responding, or there is some major software update that is going on, and we are not able to access the files from this PC. Okay, so basically fails means not able to access any files. Access any files. Fine. So when this is the problem that is faced, when this PC is not available, okay, PC is not available to either share the codes or to, okay, so when this PC, okay, we cannot share codes now since it is a failure there. It's a failure. So PC1, which means that developer number 1 cannot share his code. Okay, developer number 2 also cannot share his code. So this is a problem. So we were able to move from one set of problem to one more set. I mean, we were able to successfully come to an organization of sharing the codes, but still what we can observe here is we were able to still see the problem. Okay, so if this main PC is failing, so there is no option. We don't have any option. So in order to solve this problem, let me just call this main PC or main repository. Okay, main or centralized repository. Okay. Now, in order to solve this, let's take this entire thing as it is. Okay, so I'll copy this and I'll paste that here. We'll do a small modification to that so that we are able to solve our problem, right? So that is what we are facing. So let me just zoom in a bit. Yeah, check this. Now, in order to solve that problem of centralized repository failure, okay, in order to solve that problem, so what I do is, so in this PC1 of developer number 1, I create a local repository here. So what I'm saying is, just look at this local repo. Okay, so local repo. Look at the idea that what we are coming up with. I'll call this as local repo. Okay, so this is let's say local repo number 1, okay, which represents the developer number 1, and let's say this is local repository 2 that represents for developer 2. So similarly, let's rename this as well. Then give it a 4, and finally I'll give it a 5 here. So what I can see now, each developer is having his own local repository. Okay, see this. What I mean by this, see, even if there is a crash or there is a failure in this centralized system, even if there is a failure in the centralized system, there is no need to worry. The reason for that is, see, when I say local repository, okay, so whenever, let's say developer 1, okay, developer 1 wants to work on the chapped application. So whatever code that he will write, okay, whatever code that he writes, he will store that in the local repository. Local repository meaning in his own system, on his own system or PC, on his own PC. Then he will commit or he will push this to the centralized repository. Okay, he will store this to the centralized repository. Similarly, same goes with developer 2 as well. So he will work on whatever code he will coding that he will perform, he will store it in the local repository 2, okay, on his system, on his local system. Then this local repository will be sent to the main repository, okay, shared repository. Now, what is the advantage of doing this is, see, let's say, okay, let's say this person, okay, developer number 1, he writes some part of the code and he puts his code into the central repository. Now, what will this developer 2 will do is, he will first download this repository into his local system. Okay, he will download this repository into his local system and then start coding on this. And whatever changes he will do, then again he will put it back to the centralized shared repository. The same thing goes with third developer as well. So he will first download so that he will have the codes. So when he downloads, he will have codes from developer 1 and codes from developer 2, both the codes. So then he will work on whatever code that he want to perform. He will work on that. He will store it in local repository and he will put that back again into the shared repository. The same goes with TC4. So he will download it, download the original repository that is present here, okay, into his local system, okay, into his local system. So what will happen? What is the advantage? Whatever files developed by developer 1 plus developer 2 plus developer 3, all these files will be available as it is to the developer 4 as well. And even if let's say this this shared repository or centralized repository is failing, okay, the moment he writes code, okay, he writes a code, he puts it back into his local repository, and he then again puts it back to the shared repository. So what will happen here in this case? There is no chance of losing anything. Just try to look at the idea. Creating this local repositories is a big advantage. Okay, so let me just put it in a nutshell. So we had started with, let's say, our aim or our goal is to create a chat application. Okay, so there are 5 developers working on that chat application. The thing is, the developers are not sure how to share the codes. Okay, how to share the code or the features of that chat application among themselves. So that is the thing they are facing. So they come up with a solution of this this particular centralized repository thing here. Okay, so this person will write a code and put it into the central system. Again, he will write a code, put it in the central system. This one will write code and put it in here, and then he will write code and put it in here. The problem is, if this fails, okay, if this fails, then there is no way that the developers will get their files or will get their codes. So in order to avoid this situation, okay, so along with something called as shared repository, so I'll just write it as shared, SHARED, shared repository. So what is the developers that they have come up with is, so instead of creating one main repository or one main computer, so what they are doing is, on their local system also they are creating a repository. On the local system also they are creating a repository. So what is the advantage of this? Even if this fails, okay, even if this fails, so all the developers, okay, all these people, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will have this codes that was originally available in the central system. Okay, so there is no chance, okay, here there is no chance of losing the codes because the entire repository is available as a part of the local system. So this local repository is the biggest advantage. Okay, so this we call it as version control system. Version control system meaning, so we are able to manage, okay, or we are able to successfully track, okay, track any changes, okay, any changes done by any developer. Okay, so if developer 1 adds a new feature, so he will add it first to the local repository and then share it with the shared repository. If developer 2 comes up with a new feature, he will add it to local repository and then add it to the shared repository. Okay, then if this person, developer 3, if he wants to add something, so he will first download it, add his thing, okay, add all features and then share it back to the shared repository. So this is how the idea is. Okay, there is no chance of losing, okay, even if this central shared repository fails, so we can again push this repository and make it as central repository. So that is the idea behind this version controls systems. Fine. So if you want to know in depth about a version control system, so again, that is I'll link it in the description, so you can watch that video. I have covered in detail about what is a version control system and the process, how it goes. Fine. So now, without wasting a time, let's see this, how to create local repository on our system. Okay, on my system, I will show you how I can create a local repository. Okay. Fine. So let me just share that thing. Check this. So this, you can see, I have opened up a terminal kind of a thing. Okay, so this terminal is nothing but we call it as git bash. Okay, so So if you want to download Git Bash, just go to Google. Okay, I can even just show that if you need that. That will be helpful if you are working or if you want to work it out in future. So just type in Git Bash or Git for Windows. Download. Right. So you can see this link here. Okay. Git for Windows. Okay. Git for Windows download. So just go to that link. Go to that link and you can see download. Just click on this download. The installation process is as same as any other application that you install on your systems. As simple as that. Right. So once that is done, just go to the search bar here and just type in Git Bash. So you can be you should be seeing this option. See this, check this. Git Bash application. Click on that and it will open this application, as you can see. The same thing that I had shown you earlier. Okay, fine. Now let me just open up one more thing here. Just give me a second. Yeah. So I'll open up one my desktop. Okay. So look at this. This entire screen. So now if you just check, this is my basic desktop. So I'll create a new folder here. Okay. So and I'll give it a name as demo. Okay. And I'll enter this demo folder. Fine. So right now you can see the demo folder is empty. Okay. And I'll come back to this terminal. I'll come back to this terminal. So right now, if you look pwd, okay. So which folder I am right now in? So right now I am in this C users, this particular folder. Now, if I want to go to this desktop demo folder, so I have to travel. So users, OneDrive, desktop demo. So see this, how I am going that. CD, change directory. CD represents change directory. So I will say CD OneDrive / desktop / demo. Now check this. If I do pwd again, so right now I am in this demo folder. Okay. So the very first thing, if I want to create a local repository in my system, the very first thing that I should do is initialize. Okay. The very first thing is initializing this demo folder as a GitHub or a Git repository. So how to do that? See this. So right now, if I just say ls, okay, ls means list all the things that are present in that folder. So I can see nothing. Okay. Even if I do ls-a, okay, I cannot see anything. Okay. I don't see anything. Now let's say I'll write git init. Okay. I'll write git init just to initialize this folder, demo folder as a git folder. Okay. So I'll just press enter. So see this, you can see a message, initialized empty git repository in C, this particular folder. If you want to check, if you want to verify that whether this folder has been successfully initialized as a git repository or not, just type ls-a. And what you can notice here is the thing that you should be noticing here. See this. When you did ls-a, so you got only these two things. Now, when you do this ls-a after git init, so you can see .git/. So it represents, this particular thing represents that the demo folder, okay, the demo folder is now git repository folder. Okay, it is a empty git repository folder. So this is how we initialize. Okay, this is how a folder is initialized as a git repository. So once that is done, okay, so I'll just clear this, clear all the things. Let's say Clear? Okay, and I'll say I'll create two new files. Look at this. Nano f file 1. Okay, and I'll just give in some content to this. So this is file 1. Okay, this is file 1. Press Control X and then enter. Now I will, so as soon as I come out of that thing, so you can see file 1 is, I can see the file 1 folder or file in this particular folder. So similarly, I'll create one more. So nano file 2, and I'll write a content as this is file Control X press Y. Okay, so now if I do ls, so I get those file 1 and file 2. So as you can see here also and here also, the same file 1 and file 2 are displayed. Now what I want to do, the first thing after initializing the GitHub repository, okay, after initializing the GitHub repository, the first thing that I should do is check the status of the files. Okay, so check the status of that folder. So I'll just say git status. Check this. So what is the output that you're getting here? On branch master. So it is saying that we are currently on master branch. Okay, we are currently on the master branch. Fine. Then no commits yet. So we have not committed any file. Not committed any files yet. That is the meaning. Now you can see untracked files. Okay. So what is the use of a version control system? To track, right? So I have given this definition earlier. So as you can see, untracked. So tracking is not yet started. Okay, tracking is not yet started. So nothing added to commit, but untracked file present. So use git add to track. So see this. So the message itself is giving me an option or hint. How can I track the files? So using the command called as git add, I can track these files. If I want to track this file number 1 and file 2, then I have to use git add command. So that is what is present in this hint. So let's do that. Okay. So I'll just say git add. Okay, git add. Let's say file 1. So I want to track only file number 1. So hence I'm typing the name of that file. Git add file 1. I'll press enter. Now let's check the status. Let's see what happens. Again, so git status. So see this. So what you can see here is no commits yet, but what you can see now is that changes to be committed. Okay, so these are the changes that needs to be committed. Okay, changes that needs to be committed. So new file, okay, file 1. And then there is one file which is called as untracked file, file 2. Okay, so if you want to track file number 2 also, you have to say git add. Okay, git add. So I'll just say git add, okay, file 2. Now if I check git status again, so we got rid of those messages. See that. Now I cannot see any untracked message here. Okay, so the untracked message has been deleted or it is gone. Okay, so now the next thing, once we add these things, okay, once we do git add, the next command that we have to do is git commit. Git commit, I'll say file 1, file 2. Okay, git commit file. Instead of that, let's do this. Git commit, I'll say committing my files. Committing my files, and then I'll just say -m. Okay, so this git commit function will not work without -m parameter. So let's do enter. Let's press an enter. So you can see some message. Okay, so master root commit committing my files. So 2 files changed. Okay, 2 insertions. So you can see plus here, and then create mode, then file 1 and file. So now if I just check git status again, okay, so you can see a message, nothing to commit. Working tree is clean. Now what did we do here? So if you try to see, so first thing is we did git add, and second thing is we did git commit. So these are the two main commands that we have used, right? If you have observed that these are the two main commands that we have used. So if I want to understand what I am doing here is basically, see, demo folder, okay, demo folder is my working directory. Working directory. Working directory means, the meaning of a working directory is very simple. So this is the place where I am creating my files, I am modifying my files, I am writing my code, everything. Okay, that is the meaning of a working directory. So demo folder right now on my system, demo folder is a working directory, which means on this folder I can create new files, modify files. So when after this, okay, so let's see, I'll write here git, I did add, okay, and I did git commit. So two things I have done. Now what happens? What happens when I do git add command, and what happens when I do git commit command? Okay, let's try to understand that a bit. Okay, so when you do git add, okay, when you do git add, so what happens is all the files that are present in your demo folder or your working directory, they are taken and they are taken to a place called as staging area. Staging area. Okay, staging area. And when you do git commit, okay, when you perform the git commit operation, so from that git commit, it takes it to the local repository. Okay, so it takes, once you do this git commit, it takes from the staging area to the local repository. So now you have to understand the flow here. Okay, so from your working directory, you cannot place or push your files directly to local repository. So you cannot bypass this staging area. So once you create new files into your working directory, it always has to be added to the staging area. So without which you cannot add any files to the local repository. So hence the order is important. So from the working directory, the files have to be added to the staging area and then only to the local repository. Okay, so which means that, okay, when you add a file to a local repository, so what happens is any changes, any modifications, any additions or deletions that you perform to the files, okay, to the file 1 and file 2 will be tracked. Okay, will be tracked. So, okay, so like for example, let's say today you perform an addition operation, you add some new code to the file, and after 1 month you think that, okay, no, my previous code was only better, that was performing better compared to the new code. So since you have added it to the local repository, since you are doing the tracking part, so you can go back. Okay, you can go back to your original, or you can come back to your original status because the files are tracked here. Okay, so that flexibility we do not get with normal file systems. So we get only with the Git version control file systems. Fine. Now look at this. Okay, so coming back to this thing. So I'll just say once this Git status is done, okay, so let's clear this entire thing. Okay, and let's check Git log. Okay, what is the use of Git log? So Git log contains, okay, Git log function contains information, okay, information about the commits. So if you have observed, I have performed a git commit operation. Okay, I have committed a git commit operation previously. So that I mean, to obtain the information or to look at the information about this commit, okay, to look at the information about this commit, I have to use the git log command. So what you can see here is, so you can see commit is done, okay, and then you can see some big number here, okay, some big number. So this is called as the commit ID. This number is, we call it as commit ID. Okay, And below that, you can see details like who has done this commit. Okay. The author is Anant and email ID is apgd14@gmail.com. Date. Okay. Saturday, May 20th. So 6:30, 2023. And if you remember, I have given the same message there, committing my files in the quotations. Okay. So when I have written that git commit -m in the quotations, I have given the same message, committing my files. Right. Now, coming back. So if I want to get, okay, so I'll write a new thing here. So let's say git log minus one line. So see that. Okay. So instead of getting the entire complete detail about your git, about your commit, what you can do is you can say git log minus one line. So in one line, I want the thing or the message, the information about my commits. So where it is helpful is, let's say you have done 10 commits. Okay, let's say you have done 10 commits. In order to keep track or in order to look at all those 10 commits, okay, so it becomes difficult like this. So instead of that, if you do one line, so all the information of that 10 commits will be displayed in one single line. So you will have, this is the first commit, okay, then you will have second commit, third commit, like this. Fine. Okay. Now coming back. So this is how we can use this git log commit. So let's say I'll say clear here. CL clear. Fine. Now coming back to this. So I'll say nano. Okay, nano file 3. So I'll write some content. So this is file 3. Okay, and I'll say control X to save it. And now if I do ls, so you can see file 1, file 2, and file 3. The same you can even observe here. Right? The same thing you can even observe at this place. A new file is created. Now if I do git status, check this. So it is saying untracked file, file 3. Okay, there is a file which is present in the demo folder which is untracked, and it is giving the details. So what do we do when we have any untracked file? We have to first do git add. Okay, git add and the name of the file, file 3. Okay, file 3. So instead of giving the name of the file every time, what I do is I'll give a dot. What I mean by this dot is, okay, see, when you specify file name like file 3, let's say if you specify file 3, so what will happen is this file 3 will be moved or will be added to your staging area. Okay, will be added to your staging area. From your working directory, it will be added to the staging area. So what happens is only file 3 will be added. Now when you, let's say if you do dot, okay, let's say if you do dot, whatever files are present in the working directory, let's say file number 1, file number 2, and file number 3, all these 3 files will be added to the staging area. So that is the meaning of a dot. So when you do dot, enter. So now if you just check git status, okay, git status. So check that file 3 is added to the staging area. File 3 is added to the staging area. If you want to commit this, so you will have to say git commit -m, okay, with a message. So I'll have to say committing file 3, right? So check this, committing file 3. Now if I just do a git log, okay, if I do a git log, see this, okay, the new commit which I just now did of file 3 has been added to that git log. So this was my first commit that I have performed, and this is my new commit. Okay, this was the first commit, and this is the second or the latest commit. Latest commit, committing file 3. So again, you can see author, the name and everything like that. Fine. Okay. Now coming back. Okay. So see this. Let's say, see whenever I do this git log, what I can see is I can see author there, right? Author is Anant, right? And the email I can see is apgd14@gmail.com. I want to change that. Okay, I want to change that. What I'll do is I want to change the author name and I want to change this email also. Okay, so I'll just say git config. Okay, git config. I'll say hyphen hyphen or minus minus. Instead of that, minus minus global user dot name. Okay, user dot name. I'll say, let's say apgd, or let's say developer1. Developer1. Press enter. Okay, and let's create a new file. So I'll just say nano. Okay, nano file 4, and I'll say this is file 4. Okay, this is file 4. Control X, then yeah. Now if check this, now if I just check git status, so it has untracked file. So let's do that. Git add dot. Okay, and then I'll say git commit -m message. So I'll say committing file 4 as a developer1. Now if I do git log, check this. See this. What I was able to successfully do is the previous 2 commits. Okay, the previous 2 commits were by author Anant. Okay, and now the author is developer1. Okay, because the commit has been done by developer1. Similarly, if I want to change the email address, so I will have to say git. Okay, I'll say git config minus minus global. Okay, minus minus global user dot email. I'll say developer1@gmail.com. Now if I check, let's say I modify some file, nano. Okay, nano file 1, and if I add a new content to this, okay, something like this is line 2. Why? Okay, and now if I say git status, then git add dot, then finally I'll say git commit -m, this committing, yeah, so committing file as developer1. Okay, committing file as developer1. Now I press enter. Okay, and if you now check, okay, so if I just say git log, check that. So there are 4 commits now. So we have written that commit 4 times, right? So this was the very first commit. This is the second commit. Okay, and this is the third commit that we have, and this one is the 4th commit. What you can see is the author is developer and the email is developer1@gmail.com. So I was successfully able to change this. I was successfully able to change the username and the mail ID of the developer. Fine. So coming back to this, now see, what I want you to observe here is that just look at the commits now. So since we have done 4 commit, look at how difficult it becomes to track those commits. Okay, so see this. So every commit that we have done is having its own particular ID. So this is the ID, 14-digit number. Okay, alphanumeric number. If I, instead of getting so detailed log, what we can do is, now comes the use of one line. Git log one line. Check this. So you are getting all the 4 commits. Okay, all the 4 commits as it is. So committing my files, committing file 3, committing file 4 as developer 1 and committing file as developer, right? So all the 4 commits are available, but they are available in a single line. So this is the advantage of this one line function, one line parameter. Okay. Now check this. I use this git log. Okay. Minus n, I'll say 2. Now check what happens. Let's say enter. Let me just first clear everything. Clear everything. I'll say git log. When I say git log, I'll get all the commits that I have done till now. Okay, till now I have done 4 commits. So I am able to see the details of all the 4 commits. So commit 1, commit number 2, commit number 3, commit number 4. So these are the 4 commits that I have performed. Right now, if I want to do that, okay, so if I want to limit the number of commits, I'll say git log minus n, okay, 2. Check this. So what is happening is I'm getting the most recent 2 commits. So if I say git log, okay, minus n 3. So what will it display is, it will display the most recent 3 commits that I have done. Okay, most recent 3 commits. Okay, so that minus n and the number that I am giving there, so this one, the minus n and the number that I'm providing here, it is allowing me to control the commit information that I want to look at. Now check this. Git log, okay, minus n, let's say 2, and minus 1 line. So I'm combining both the functions. Combining both the functions or both the parameters. So minus n and 2 is used to give the details about the most recent 2 commits that I have performed. And this 1 line is used to restrict, okay, the commit information to 1 single line. Don't give me a detailed commit information. Just give me give the commit information in a single line. So I'm able to combine both of these things. Now see this. Now what I want to do is, let's say I say git log, okay, git log, I'll say author, let's say equals to minus author, minus author equals to, let me just give it as developer 1. What you can observe when I do this, or when I execute this particular command, what I can observe is whatever commits, okay, the commits that have been performed by developer 1, okay, author is developer 1, so that commits details will be given as an output. Okay, that commit details. So as you can see here, so if I want details of Anant, okay, so let's say I'll git log minus author, okay, equals to, I'll say Anant. Check this. So I'm not getting the developer commits, the commits that have been done by the developer number 1. I'm not getting that, but instead I'm getting the commits that have been done by Anant. So since I was able to provide that Anant as the author, right? So this is how we use this author parameter for the log. Okay, so this again becomes useful. Let's say you in a team, there are 10 developers working on a particular file. Okay, so then what you can do is you can say git, okay, minus author. So let's say the developer name is Rohit. Okay, so you just can say Rohit here. So what it will do, it will list all the files or the commits that have been done by Rohit. Okay, developer Rohit. Okay, so just to filter out your commit information, you can use this git log command. Now see this. If I use git log, okay, minus author, author equals to, I'll say Anant, okay, and I use minus 1 line. So this is again minus 1 line is again used to filter your commits. So you get 1 line commit informations, only 1 line commit informations, as you can see here. This is a 1 line commit information. This is a 1 line commit information. Okay. So using this one line command, we are able to restrict. So just check this. If you just check this entire commit information that we are getting here, okay. So it is too much. I mean, 4 to 5 lines it is displaying. But when I say one line, it is giving me only one line commit information. So that is the advantage of that one line. Okay. So now check this. Say clear. Okay. I'll say clear. Now what I want to do is, okay, what I want to do is, let's say, see this particular system I am working on. Okay. This particular system I am working on is, I will just say git status. Okay. And if I just check, so what I can see is all the changes, okay, all the changes, modifications, whatever has to be done, everything has been committed. Okay. All the files, all these file number 1 to file number 4 are available as a part of local repository. Okay. So are available as a part of local repository. Let's go back to our Excel sheet once again to see what is happening here. Okay. See this. So let's assume I am developer number 1. Okay. My name is Anant. Okay. And I am developer number 1. Whatever coding that I have to do, I have done it. And I have stored it in my local repository. Okay. I have stored it in my local repository. Now, in order to for this developer number 2 to access the files present in my local repository, okay, he cannot directly do that. He cannot access the files directly from developer number 1's local repository. So in order to access the files that are available here, I first have to share it to shared repository, and then this person, developer 2, has to download it onto his local system. So let's check that. Okay, let's check that with an example. What I do is, so for creating developer number 2, I will open up a Amazon EC2 instance. Okay, Amazon EC2. Okay, so I'll just say Amazon EC2. Yeah, so I just sign into the console. Okay, so if you want to use an EC2 an instance, okay, along with me, so what you can do is you have to create a EC2 account. Okay, Amazon EC2 account you have to create, only then you will be able to use it. Okay, so let's create a new system here from scratch. So I'll just say I want to create a EC2 instance. Okay, EC2 instance means I want to create a personal computer. Okay, personal computer on cloud, Amazon cloud. Right, so I'll just click on EC2. Okay, and then you can see a lot of information here. Okay, so like EC2 dashboard, EC2 global view. I'm not interested in all those things. What I'm interested here is I'm interested in this launch instance. Launch instance meaning is, okay, the meaning here is to create a new system, new PC. I want to create a new PC on cloud. So I'll just say launch instance. Okay, launch instance, and then I'll just give it a name. Okay, so let's say this is developer 2. Developer 2. Okay, and then I'll say Amazon Linux. Let's go with the default settings. Everything, I'll keep everything as default settings. Right, so you can see network setting informations. Okay, keep all those things. Multiple, how much storage you want. I'll not be touching anything. Just the thing that I have done here is I just given a name as developer. Okay, I'll say launch instance. Yeah, so create a yeah, so one more thing that it will ask you is that you have to enter a key pair name. So how do we do that is just say create new key pair. Okay, so create new key pair and just enter that key pair name as developer 2. Okay, or let's say D2. D2. Fine. What I'll do, so key pair type, I can see RSA, right? So I'll say create key pair. Okay, so I can see some file is downloaded onto my system. Okay, so we'll see what is the use of that file that has been downloaded. Okay, so I'll just say launch instance. Launch instance. So once that instance is launched, I'll just go to instances here. What I can see is a new system. See this. Just now we have created this developer system. Developer 2 system is created. If I select that developer 2 system, okay, so I can see all the details about that developer 2 system here. Okay, I'll able to see the all the developer 2 system details. Now, if I want to work, okay, if I want to work with this developer 2 system, okay, developer 2 system, I have to take help of a new software. Okay, I'll just say MOBA extra. Just check this. It's getting launched. So just observe what I'm doing. I'll say session, okay, and then I'll say SSH. I'll say remote host, right? So in the remote host, I have to provide the public IPv4 address. Copy this, okay, and then provide it here. I'll say advanced settings. Then I'll say use private key. What is this use private key? So just check this. This is same, the one which we had downloaded. So I'll say D2PEM. Okay, so let me just show you what is that D2PEM. See this. While creating the instance, I have downloaded this file, right? So I had told you there is some file is getting downloaded. So that file, I'm using it here in the mobile XM software. Okay, and I'll say specify username. Okay, I'll EC2 minus user. Give it a username as EC2 minus user. I'll say okay. Then I'll say accept here. Okay, without anything, say accept. And I'll say sudo su. Okay, sudo su. So what I can see is instead of using this laptop or this particular system as a EC2 user, I'm using it as a root. Okay, why to use it as a root? Because if I want to install Git on this system, so right now this is a very new system. Okay, the one which I have created on the cloud, it's a very new system. There are no softwares available. So if I want to use Git here, so I have to use it as a root. Without that, I'll not be able to use any software. So just check this. If I type in Git here, Git enter, check that. It is saying me command not found. So which means that right now, the system which we had created or the computer which we had created on the Amazon cloud, it is not able to identify what is this Git command you're talking about. So for that, we have to first install Git. So I'll just say yum install Git. So it gives me some information here, and at the last, it asks me, is it okay? So I'll just say yes. So it starts downloading Git. Check that. Okay, so it is saying me complete. Check this. There is a complete message. Now if I type Git, see that it did not give me that error message. Okay, it did not provide that error message which it was providing earlier. Okay, I'll just say clear. Fine. If I say check this, if I say Git, it is not giving me any error message. Fine. Fine. The problem here is, see this. So developer number 1 is present on Windows system. Developer number 2 is present on cloud. So this is a cloud system. It is a complete Linux system. So now this second developer, okay, developer number 2 wants all the files from developer number 1. Now there is a big challenge. So how to share, okay, whatever files that developer number 1 has created. So let's see. This is my developer number 1 on Windows. So there are 4 files, right? File 1, file 2, file 3, file 4. 4 files this person has created. Developer number 1 has created. So how to share these files? Okay, or how can I, what I mean basically is, how can I share these files from local repository to shared repository? So this is the place where websites like GitHub, Bitbucket comes into picture, etc. So what they do is the local repository from the developers is hosted. Okay, they just hold the repositories. Okay, they just hold the repository. So hence Git and GitHub. Okay, Git and GitHub both are not same. Now you should be able to understand what is the difference. See, the developer number one was working. He created all the codes. He has placed all the codes into the local repository. Okay, so whatever code files that he has written, the tracking is started. It is happening. Okay, everything is done. But in order to share these files, what are present here with other developers, okay, to share with other developers, he cannot do that directly. So there is something called as shared repository. So platforms like GitHub, okay, Bitbucket come into picture in this case. So this is the exact difference between Git, okay, this thing which we have done, the tracking of the files, the storing of the files in local repository, we call it as Git. And the local repository shared onto a shared repository is called as a GitHub. Platforms like GitHub are specifically those things. So let's do that. Okay. So I'll just go to, let's say, github.com. Okay. I'll go to GitHub. You need to have a GitHub account in order to work on this. Okay. So I already have, and I have already logged into my GitHub here. What I can see is I want to create a new repository. So I'll just say new here. Okay. So I'll just click on this new, so that I want to create a new repository. So let me just give this repository a name. Okay. So I'll just say DevOps. Okay. DevOps. I'll say course. Or let's say GitHub. Okay. GitHub for DevOps. For DevOps. Okay. GitHub for DevOps. And then I'll keep everything as it is. I'll not make any changes here. And I'll say create a repository. So see this. The shared repository is created. Fine. So now what I want to do is, okay, I have to go back to my local developer number one. Okay, this is developer number one. So he has to share his files. Okay, so I'll say git add a remote origin. Git add remote origin and the link of this repository. Okay, so the link is present here. Check this. This is the link. I want this link. I'll copy this, go back to my first developer, paste that link here, and then enter. Okay, so it's just saying fatal, some error. Okay, so that is just yeah. So let me just write that again. Git remote add origin. Okay, yeah, add origin and then the link. Just the words I have misused them. So I'll copy this, paste that here. See that? Okay, I did not get any error message. So what I did is, I am saying that, okay, I want to establish a connection with this repository available on the GitHub and my local repository. Okay, now what I'll say, git push origin master. Fine. So as soon as I do that, I just go back to my this Google Chrome and I'll refresh this page, GitHub page. So what you can see is exactly all the 4 files which are available in my local repository are now available in the GitHub platform as well. So you can see this. File 1, file 2, file 3, file 4. Okay. Now it becomes easier for developer number 2, okay, developer number 2 to download those files. So how will the developer number 2 download these files? So see this. So you'll just say git, okay, clone, okay, git clone and the link of the repository. So just go back, copy this link, okay, copy that link and paste it in the developer number 2. Yeah, so see this and enter. Okay, so now check this. If I say ls, so you can see GitHub for DevOps, the repository that we have created. Okay, this was the repository name that we had given while creating it on the GitHub page, right? See this GitHub for DevOps. Same thing is available here. So I'll just change, go inside that file. Okay, I'll just say git cd GitHub -for -DevOps. Okay, now if I do ls, check that. So all the files, file number 1, file number 2, file number 3, file number 4, all the files are available here. All 4 files I can see with developer 2 as well. Okay, so let's say developer number 2 adds 2 new files. So let's say nano file 6 or file 5. Okay, file 5.txt. Okay, and let's say he types in this is file 5 from developer 2. Okay, then Control X, save it, exit. Then I'll say nano file 6.txt. Okay, then you can see this. This is file 6 from developer 2. Control X, right? And then yes. Now check this. Now if I do ls, okay, if I do ls, so what I can see all the 4 files, file number 1, file 2, file 3, file 4, along with file 5 and file 6. These are the 2 new files that have been created. Okay, so where are these files right now? They are just available inside this folder. Okay, inside the working directory. They are just available inside the working directory of developer 2. So let's check that. Okay, if I go back to my github.com, so if I refresh this page, so you can see that they are not yet available here. Okay, I still can see file number 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, I can still see 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I want to put these files. Okay, I want to push these files to the GitHub repository. Okay, so how to do that? So first you have to take these files from your working directory to the staging area. So I'll say git add dot. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So git add dot. Okay. So if you just check git status now, check this. Okay. So changes to be committed. So we have to commit these changes, commit these files. So I'll just say git commit. Okay, git commit -m. I'll say committing files. Okay, committing files from developer 2 or as developer 2. Committing files as developer 2. Okay, so then if I just do git status now, it might be probably let me just minimize this a bit. It is possible. Yeah. Okay, it's not allowing me to minimize. So let me just move. Yeah, see this. I'll say git status. So check that. Okay. The git status. Status once again. So you can see this. Nothing to commit. The same message. Working tree is clean. Fine. So what have we done? So from the present working directory of developer 2, we have taken those files, file number 5 and file number 6 to the local repository of developer 2. Local repository of developer 2. Now I have to push these files. I'll say git push origin master, so that I can take these files from the local repository of developer 2 to the GitHub, to the shared repository. So I'll just say enter. Okay. So let me just type in password. Yeah. Okay, authentication failed. So let me just check what is the username there. It's Anand Divanji. I think I seem to forget my password. Git push origin master. Okay, so it's saying authentication failed. So just give me a second. Just check. So the thing is, it is asking me password. So it is not taking that password. Yeah, fine. So let me just try that now. So just a second. I am sharing the screen. I'll say clear here. So git push. Okay. Git push origin master. So it's simple as okay. So it is still not allowing me. Just hold on a second. Checking that. Okay. So let me just do it again. So git push. Okay, I'll say okay. So there is some connection error. Okay, so basically there is some connection error. So what I will do? Okay, so right now let's see this. I'll take one new folder inside my Windows system itself. Okay, so there is some authentication problem there. So what I'll do, I'll just go back to desktop. Okay, I'll just say cd dot dot. Okay, so from the demo, I went back to desktop. Okay, I went back to desktop. Now assume that. Okay, so let's say I'll just say clear here. Okay, and what I do is I create a new folder. Okay, just say in my desktop, I create a new folder. Let's say developer 2. Okay, so assume that this is developer 2 system. It's just an assumption that we are making here. Go back to desktop. I mean, this git bash. I'll say cd developer 2, developer space 2. Okay, too many arguments. So let me just check this. Give it, I'll rename it. Right. So I'll say developer 2. Oh. So I'll say cd developer 2. So you can see from the desktop, I am right now inside this developer2 folder. Okay. So let's say I want to pull that. Okay. So I'll say git clone. Okay. Git clone and the address of that file. Address of, sorry, the address of this link. So copy this and paste that here and here in this. Yes. Okay. So paste it here. Yeah. Now if I just check git ls, so it contains GitHub for DevOps, that folder. Okay. So then I'll say cd GitHub for DevOps. Okay. Then it says, see this ls. So it is having file 1 to file 4. Okay. Now I want to create new files. As a developer too, I want to create 2 new files. So I'll say nano file 5. Okay. So I'll say this is file 5. Control X, Y. Then I'll say nano file 6. This is file 6. Okay. And then I'll say git add dot git commit -m. Fine. So let's say committing new files or file 5. Okay. File 5 and file 6 as developer 2. So if I now do ls, so just check that. Okay. So you have all 5 files, all 6 files. If I say git status, sorry, git status. So we have committed all the things. What I have done is what I have done till now. Same thing which I was doing in the Linux system, I have done it in this folder. Okay. So I have just cloned that repository from github.com and then I have created 2 new files and added those 2 new files in the local repository of developer2. Now I have to modify or I have to show or reflect those changes in my GitHub also. So I'll just say git push origin master. So now if I go back to my this thing, okay, and if I refresh this page, check that. So you will be able to see file 5 and file 6. So committing files file 5 and file 6 as developer 2. So these file number 1 to file number 4 are from developer number 1 and file number 5 and file number 6 are from developer number 2. Right. So you can just check this. All right. So that is how we can work collaboratively using the Git platforms like GitHub, Bitbucket, etc. So I'll just say clear here. Okay, I'll just say clear. Now what I do is, now let's see. Okay. See, right now we are acting as developer 2 and we are looking at the changes, right? So if I do ls, here also I can see all the 6 files. Now I want to see whether what is the status for developer number 1. What is the status? How many files is that developer number 1 having? Okay, so for that, what I'll do is I'll just say cd dot so that I go out of this developer folder. Okay, so I come back to desktop. Just check this. So from desktop, I want to go to demo folder. I'll just say cd demo. So you can just check this demo. Right now I'm in the demo, acting as a developer number 1. So okay, I'll just say clear. So if I do ls, so see that. So developer number 1 is still having file number 1 to file number 4. Okay. So if we want to get the files, okay, if we want to update his local repository, if the developer number 1 wants to update his local repository, then he has to download files 5 and file 6. So how he can do that? So see this, git pull git pull origin master. So now if I check ls, so you can see this developer number 1 is also having files 5 and file 6. Okay, developer number 1 is also having file 5 and file 6. Okay, so how did I do that? Using the git pull origin master command. Now check this. When I wanted to download the entire repository to my local system, I used a different command. Okay, so I used command like git clone and the link address, right? So this is what I have used. This is what I had done. Now when I want to update, okay, when I have this particular files or this repository on my local repository, but only thing is I want to see these new files. Okay, the updates of that repository I want to understand, then I have to use command called as git pull origin master. Origin master. So try to understand when you want to download, okay, download the repository, download the entire repository, then use git clone command. When you want to get the updates of that repository, okay, so you know that you already have that repository on your system, but you want to just get the updates that were done by other people, so then use the git pull origin master command. So that will update your local repository as well. Okay, the advantage that you can see even if let's say tomorrow this entire repository is fails, okay, so it is deleted by someone or something happens, what I can see is I still have all these 6 files with me. Okay, I have all these 6 files available with me. Not just with me, all developers will have that particular files. Okay, so that is the advantage of having a local repository and a shared repository. That is the biggest advantage. Okay, so now let me just clear this. And if I do ls, okay, if I do ls, let's say if I want to remove a particular file, I want to delete a particular file, so I'll just say git, okay, git rm file 6, enter. Okay, if I do ls, so I can see file number 1 till file number 5. So file number 6 is deleted. Now the question is, where is the file number 6 deleted? The answer is the file number 6 is deleted, okay, only from, let me just show you. File number 6 is deleted only from demo folder. Okay, it is only deleted from the demo folder. It is still available in the local repository of developer 1. Only in this demo folder, file number 6 is not existing. Okay, so if I want to commit those changes, so let's say if I say git status, see that it's saying me deleted file 6. So changes needs to be committed. Okay, changes needs to be committed. So changes are not committed yet. So if I say git add, okay, git add dot, and I'll say git commit. Okay, so -m with a message, I'll say deleted file 6, deleted file number 6. Okay, now if I say ls, okay, so it shows me 5 files. If I say git status, okay, this is important. So I can see nothing to commit, working tree is clean. Initially we were getting changes to be committed. Now I don't get that message because I have done the commit. Okay, so I have done the commit. Fine, so see this. Okay, so I'll just say clear. Okay, I'll just say clear. So let's say, I'll say git log just to check how many things that I have done here. Yeah, so now let's say Q. Yeah. Clear. So what I do, I create, let's say, new file. Okay, nano let's create some file. Let's say a.txt, and I'll say this is a demo file. Okay, this is a demo file. I'll say Control X, modify that. Yeah. So file A is created, and just check A file is created. So if I want to add it to the staging area, I'll just say git add. Just check this. So if I say git status, it'll show me that message, untracked file. So I have to do git add. Okay, so I'll just say git add, right? Sorry, git add with a dot. The dot was missing there. Then I'll say git commit. No, I'll not commit this right now. Just say git add. Check this. So you have a.text here, and if you just check, okay, the git status is that changes needs to be committed. Okay, the file is being tracked, but changes are not yet committed. Okay, the changes are not yet committed. Now what I do, I open that same file. Okay, I'll open that nano a.txt. a.txt. I just add some contents to this file. Okay, so this is line 2, and I'll say this is line 3. Okay, some new 2 new lines I have added. Okay, now what I do is, after modifying that file, okay, after modifying that file, if I do git status, check that. So it is saying me that, see, changes to be committed. This is the commit that has to be done. But if I just check this one, okay, what is this saying? Changes not staged for the commit, which means that the file is still untracked. The modifications that I have done to this file, it is still untracked. It is not being tracked. So I want to check. Okay, I want to check what is the difference between this one and this one. Okay, I want to check what is the difference that I have done here and here. So for that, what I'll do is git difference. I'll say a.txt, name of the file. So now check this output. Check this output. What I can see here is it is showing me difference between a.text and a.text. Okay. So what I can see here is, okay, so look at the very last line. Look at the very last line. So what it is saying is, okay, this 2 lines, you can see plus, this is line 2 in a green color, right? So what is this symbolizing, or what is this telling me? Okay, what is this telling me? So it is just telling me that in the working directory, okay, in the working directory, you have modified this a.text file by adding these new contents to that file. What I am checking here, okay, what I am checking is, see, let me just show that again. So I'll say clear. Okay, and I'll say git rm a.text. Fine. Okay, so it is not allowing. Git rm a. Okay, git rm a.text. Following file has staged content. Okay, so let me just create a new file. Okay, so see this. I'll say nano d.text. Okay, so I'll say this is file B. This is file B. Save that file. Okay, and then if I git status, if I do git status, what you can see is a new file. Okay, new file is created, which is untracked. b.txt is untracked. So if I want to track that file, I have to do git add b.txt. Okay, now check this. So if I do git status now, okay, so you can see a new file. Okay, it is being tracked now. Okay, earlier the file b.text was not being tracked. Now it is being tracked. Now what I do, I modify that file. Okay, nano b.text. I modify the file. So I'll just say that this is line 2 of file B. Okay, so just one line. Okay, just one line. So now what I am trying to do here is get difference. Okay, b.text. Just check this. When I try to click on enter, what will happen is the modifications that I have done here in this line and the file which was present earlier. Okay, so this file is present as a part of your staging area. This file is now present in the staging area, and this file, the modification after performing staging, I am doing the modifications to the b.txt file. What I'm doing after performing the staging area, I am doing the modifications on that file. Now I want to understand what is the difference between file which is present after modification on my local, on my working directory, and the file which is present in the staging area. I want to understand the difference. What is the new contents that has been added? So that is what it shows here. See this. This is a new line of file B. A new line has been added to that file. So the file which is present, b.text, which is present in this demo folder, is containing this line. And this one, the one which is staged, okay, the file which is staged, same file, b.txt, which is staged, it is not containing that file B. So if you want to stage, if you want to do that, okay, so you have to just say git add b.text. Now if you do git status, so you can see that the changes, okay, whatever changes that you have done in the demo folder, it will be even reflected in the staging file. Okay, it will be even reflected in the staging file. I'll say clear. Okay, I'll say clear. So let's say let's try to get a status. Let's see what is the status. Yeah, so modified a.text. Okay, so let's do all the commits. Okay, so I'll say git add dot, then I'll say git commit. Okay, I'll say -m committing CITING, committing all changes, all the changes. Committing all the changes. And if I now check git status, so I think, yeah, nothing to commit. All the changes or all the commits have been performed. Successfully done. Now what I do, I'll say nano. I'll say clear first. Okay, clear. Now what I do, I'll say nano. Okay, nano. Let's say take b.text. Okay, b.text. So I'm modifying the file once again. And so let's say this is line 3 of file B. This is line 4 in file B. Say yes. Okay. See, if I want to compare, okay, I'll get difference. Okay, and I'll say head, 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 b.text. What did I do here? Get difference head b.text. So I'm checking the difference. Okay, I'm checking the difference of file b.text. Okay, from my previous commit to latest changes that I have performed. What I mean by this, see, before this modifying this file, I have done the commit here. Okay, I have done a commit previously, right? All the changes have been committed to the local repository. All the changes have been committed to the local repository. Now what I did after committing that, I modified that file. I added these 2 new lines to that file. Okay, so where are these two lines present? They are present only as a part of this demo folder. Okay, they are not present. They are just present in your present working directory. The modifications are done in the B file of the present working directory. Okay, so why I am doing this? Just checking what is the difference between the committed file and modified file. So it is showing me this is the difference. These two lines have been newly added. Newly added two lines. Okay, from the committed file and the modified file. That we say as difference. So git difference tells us new contents that have been added as a part of the file. So I'll say git status, just check this. So you can see modified b.text. So I get this message, modified message. So since I have modified that, I'm getting that. Okay, so it is not yet tracked. The modifications are not yet tracked, and the modifications are not yet committed. Okay, they are not being tracked also. They are not being committed also. If you want to do that things, so you have to say git add dot git what is that commit -m message saying that modified file b.text. Now say clear. Now if you do git difference, okay, git difference head b.text, so it will not show you any difference, because whatever there are no differences. So whatever is contents, okay, whatever contents are present in this b.text file, they are present in your local repository also. So both the files are in sync. There is no differences between them. So if I don't have any differences, if the file which is present in this demo folder and my local repository, it is same, then I don't get any output here when I do git difference. Okay. Now let's see this. So I say git, I'll say nano, modify the file, nano b.text. What I do, I delete these two lines. I don't want these two lines. Right? I'll say delete that. Okay, I'll modify that. Say yes. Now if I do git status, so you can see b.text has been modified. Now check this. Okay. So if I do git difference, before that I'll say add. Okay, add b.text. I'll stage this file. Okay, I'll stage this. So I'll say clear. Clear. Yeah. Now what I do, I just say git difference minus staged. Okay, minus staged head. So what is that file name? b.text. So what is this showing? What this, how to interpret this output? Okay. So this is the difference. Okay. Git difference, staged and head file. So basically I am checking the difference between the staged file b.text, okay, and committed file b.text. Okay, so one which is available in the staging area, okay, the one which is available in the staging area, and the one which is available as a part of your local repository. As a part of your local repository. So I'm just checking those differences. What is the difference, actual difference over there? Fine, so see this. If I just say git difference head b.text, so even then I get the same thing, because whatever modifications that I have done to b.text, it is available only as a part of demo folder and the staging area. It is available only as a part of demo folder and staging area. It is the changes are still not reflected or they are not being committed to your local repository. So if you want to do that, git commit, okay, git commit -m lines, okay, lines deleted from b.text. Give that message and then enter. You just check git status. See that working tree is clean, nothing to commit. Now if you do git difference minus staged, okay, head b.text. So what you can see is there is no difference. I don't get anything in the output. The reason for that is whatever file that you have in your staging area and whatever file that you have in your local repository, both are in sync. There is no difference over there. Exactly same files. Okay, they are exactly same files. Okay, so then I'll say clear. Okay. So I'll just say nano a.text. A.text. Just want to modify file number A. So let's say I want to add 2 new things to this file. So I'll just connect my, yeah. So see this. I want to add 2 new lines. So this is line 4. This is line 5. So added 2 new lines, save it as a file. Okay, and if I do git status now, so it will show me modified the text file a.text, right? Modified text a.file. If I do git, okay, add a.text. So I am taking this file to the staging area using the git add command. Okay. So once I staged a file, I realized that I want to do few more modifications. Okay. I want to perform few more modifications to that file. So in order to get back that file from the staging area, just have to say git reset. Okay, git -- reset a.text. Okay, so it is saying unknown option. Just a second. Yeah, it is just git reset a.text. Just check this. Now if I do git status, see that it is saying me modified a.text. So I have removed that file back from the staging area. Okay, now I can just go ahead and add any contents I want to a.text. So let's say if I want to add 2 more lines. Okay, few more lines to that. So this is, yeah, this is line 6. Line 6. This is line 7, like this. I want to add and save. Okay, and if I now want to do that, so I'll just say git add a.text. And I'll say git commit. Okay, in order to commit the changes to my local repository. So I'll just say git commit -m committing changes. Committing changes. I'll say, if I say git status now, check that. So you don't have anything, nothing to commit. So I'll say clear. Okay, I'll say clear. Now, check this. If I want to see right now, what you can see is whatever changes, okay, whatever changes that we are doing or whatever file additions, anything that we are performing, it is all happening in, let me just show you what I mean. So let git push origin master, ORIGI. git push origin master. Okay, so what is the use of this? So check that you have to go back to your GitHub so that you can now see a.txt, b.txt, all the files which were present. The developer one local repository are now present here as well. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to go to developer 2. Okay, I want to go to developer 2. The cd dot dot, it's a cd, what is that? The name that we have given. Let me just check the name that I have given as developer 2, right? So cd developer 2. Yeah, developer 2. Then I'll want to go to this. If I do ls, I want to go inside this GitHub for DevOps. Okay, so that is my GitHub repository, right? So hence I want to go to that. cd GitHub for DevOps. So if I do ls, so I can see file 1 to file 6. Okay, the new files a.txt has to be pulled. So I'll just say git pull origin master. Now if I do ls, so I can see a.txt and b.txt as well. Yeah, newly added files. Now what this developer to decides is that he wants to add a new feature. Okay, not to this. Okay, not to this, but something called as a branch. Okay, which means that this, let's say this is your main file. So he wants to create a subfolder or a sub file in this. Okay, subfolder or a sub file in this, and he wants to add his own he wants to do his own modifications there. So for doing that, we have something called as branching. Okay, that we had performed that using concept of branching. So we'll say git branch feature 1. Sorry, the spelling is wrong. Git branch branch feature 1. So you can imagine something like this. Okay, so you all the developers are working on creating an application. Okay, and let's say this developer 2 is working on particular feature like creating the emojis inside a chat application, creating the emojis. So that is the feature that he is working on. Okay, so the entire emoji part has to be developed by the developer 2. So instead of modifying or instead of committing the files to this main repository, so he will create a branch and he will add all those files to the branch. So see this. So if I want to go to this branch, okay, so branch 1 is created. Okay, so branch feature 1 is created. So see how I have given the syntax: git the branch and the name of the branch. So if I want to go to that branch, I'll say git checkout feature 1. So you can see switch to feature 1 branch message. Also, what you can notice here is earlier you used to get a master here. Now you are getting feature. FEATURE. Okay, so if you do ls here, you still will get the names of all the files available in your main branch. Okay, as your main branch. Now if you just say, see this, nano. Okay, I create a file called as c.txt. Let's assume c.txt, and I'll say this is file c xy. Yeah. Okay, now I'll say git add dot, let's say git commit -m. So I'll say committing c.txt file. Okay, so now if you do ls, so you can see ls is a part. Okay, part of this I mean, you get the c.txt also when you do ls. Now I want to go to the, from the feature branch, I want to go to master branch once again. So I'll just say git check out master. If I do ls here, so what you can see is the c.text is not available here. On the master branch, c.text is not available. Okay. So if I want to see that c.text on my GitHub, how it looks like. So what I'll do, I'll say git push origin feature one. Instead of git push origin master, I will just say git push origin feature one, the name of that branch that I have just now created. Enter. Okay. See this. There is a modification happen in this. So you can just, so you can see a message here. Feature one had recent pushes less than a minute ago. So you can see two branches. So if I click on this, okay, so you can see master branch and feature one branch, that one, the one that we have created. If I go to that, I can see c.text file. If I go to my master branch, I cannot see c.text file. Check this. That is the difference between a feature and a master branch. Okay, so you can again visit back and check that c.text. Okay, and the contents of c.text file. This is a file C. Great. Okay, so that is how we do perform branching. Okay, perform branching in this. Advantage of this branching is that, so when you are working on an application, right? So when you have multiple features that you want to integrate as a part of that application, so instead of having everything on the same master branch, okay, having everything on the master branch, create multiple features. So feature one, feature two, feature three, and then add all the features to that, and then finally combine them, integrate them. Okay, integrate them. Fine. So now just look at this. If I do git log, okay, and if I want to look at the latest commit, so that will appear at the very top. This is the latest commit, right? So that is my, that should be my latest commit. So what you can see is, what you also have to take a note of is, when you are, let me just rearrange them a bit. Yeah, see this. So this is the latest or the most recent commit that we have performed. Okay, most recent commit. What you can observe is EC3D B. Okay, and EC3D, this particular code and this particular commit ID will be same. Okay, this particular commit ID and this particular commit ID should be same. Only then, okay, only then it means that, only then it means that whatever files that you have on your local repository and files on shared repository are same. If there is a difference here, it certainly indicates that you have to pull any modifications that have been done to the shared repository has to be pulled into your system as well. Okay, onto your system as well. Fine. So I think, yeah. So let's see one last thing. One last part. Let me just show you. Say clear. Yeah. So I'll say nano. Okay. Nano file 6.txt. Okay. I'll say this is file number 6. Let's save it. Sorry. So I'll say git add dot git commit -m message saying that committing a new file, right? And then I'll say git log. Okay, git log. So when I do this, just check this. Okay, just check this. See, your origin master or origin head, which is the shared repository. Okay, the commit ID of the shared repository is this one, and the commit ID of your local repository is this one. So head master has a different commit ID compared to your origin master commit ID, which means that there are some modifications that you have performed on your local repository which are not yet reflected or which are not yet shared or pushed to the shared repository. Okay, so that is, you can see always a difference. If there is a difference, just understand that there has to be some, either there has to be a pull operation or a push operation. If the latest, most recent commit and this is not checked, then. Okay, so that was the one last thing that I wanted to share. Then I think I'm good here. Yes, Rishabh, I hand it over to you.
All right, Anand, are you able to see me?
Yes, Rishabh.
All right, great. So we had one, there was few questions, one of which was that if I want to become a DevOps engineer, like what are the topics that I need to study?
So definitely GitHub will be the first one. So along with that, you have to know some of the tools and technologies related to continuous integration and continuous development. So you have something called as Terraform, you have something called as Ansible, etc., etc. So there are a lot of tools that you should be aware of. So along with any one programming language, like either a Python or Java, whatever, or whichever you feel comfortable. So that is there. And one last thing that you should also be aware of is how to work on cloud systems like AWS, Azure, or any of them. Any one cloud system you should be good with, any one programming language, and GitHub though definitely it's has to be mastered, and other any one tool like Terraform, Ansible, etc., Jenkins, etc., like that.
Okay. And like we did last time on Git, and this time we did workshop on GitHub. Totally, like how much time do we need to spend on both of these to have like confidence that okay, we know about this?
Yeah, so Git and GitHub both go hand in hand. So there is no much difference. Only thing is that GitHub is a hosting platform for Git. So if you want to master, or if you want to, let's say, become a expert in this GitHub, so more than 2 hours to 1 day, you can do that complete things in 1 day, and you can become an expert in this Git or GitHub.
Okay. And I've seen like lot of people like sharing online their GitHub profile.
Yes.
So how would you suggest people, like how should they make their GitHub profile?
Yeah, so that will be the top one priority because whatever work or whatever projects, the portfolio projects that you do, it becomes important that you share along with the entire community, so that let's say if any recruiter, you apply to any jobs, and if a resume, I mean the recruiter or the technical manager in that organization is interested to look how you present what you are working on. So let's say you created an app and how you present it. So that becomes both, that thing becomes important. So you are able to work, and also you are able to present it in a way that others can understand. So where you will show that. So the only platform that we have to showcase is GitHub, like GitHub or Bitbucket, etc. So thing is, it's an online sharing platform. So you make use of it to present your projects, to present your skills. So that is where it will be helpful. That is how it will be helpful.
Because I've seen like lot of technical recruiters, they definitely look at this whether in your resume you have put your GitHub profile link or not.
Yes, definitely. That matters.
Okay. And any suggestions you would tell them while making this profile, like how should they go about this?
Yeah, so first thing is that you should have a very professional picture. Okay, so whatever your profile section, keep your profile section completely latest or recent. Do not miss out on any information there. So let's say you have completed education, your whatever education level you are in, mention all those details, put a picture, upload a picture there, a very professional picture in a professional setting. So that will give a very good impression for the technical manager who is looking at your profile. So profile section, talking about that, has to be taken care, given the first priority. Second thing is that maintain. So what I would suggest is just go and refer some of the popular GitHub repositories and look how they are maintaining the repositories. And based on that lines, you can design your own strategy, or you can design your own way to, maintain the files on your GitHub profile. So that will be the best strategy as compared to sticking to any one system.
So very important, all freshers who are watching or who are just applying for jobs, mention that GitHub profile. And if you haven't made one, now would be the right time to make one so that your chances of getting selected increases.
Yes.
And with that, we'll be coming to the end of our session. And I would like to thank Anant that he shared all his knowledge here with all of us.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Rishabh. Thank you, everyone.
And again, a reminder to all of you, if you want to watch the Git workshop that Anand took, the link is available in the description. So please do watch it so that you get the complete information. And if you want to see more such detailed courses like this, then you can check out our website, which is www.edyoda.com, where we have many such courses and you'll be able to learn much more in detail. And do let us know in the chat box which workshop do you want us to have, like the topic on which you want us to have a workshop on the chat box, and we'll definitely try to bring more workshops like that on those topics. So with that, we'll be ending this live. So thank you all for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon. See you again in the next video. Till then, bye bye everyone and take care.